Hi, welcome to Write Your Book. Today we're going to talk about personalizing your process. Nobody can tell you exactly what process you can use. You have to find that out. Let me tell you about my process. And then you can look at my process and say, hey, I like that. Oh, I don't like that. I'm not that. Yes, I am that. You have to find your own voice, your own personalized process. We talked about process last time, the process of writing a book, like from beginning to end. This is the process of personalizing what it is that you're writing. All right. Here's my process. Number one, I get an idea. From that idea, I put a working title. That's not the final title. Don't get back down on the title. Please don't get back down on the title. It's going to be changed. It's going to be modified. Then I write the title or the names for 7 to 10 chapters. For example, the last book that I wrote about Elijah, I just said Elijah in mental health, Elijah in leadership, Elijah with innovation, Elijah in his relationships, Elijah in prayer. I wrote 10 titles like that. Those were not the ending titles. These were not the titles that I ended up with. These are the titles that I use as a working title. Then after that, then I start filling in those chapters with my outline. I just have a little outline, right? In one of the chapters, I talk about leadership, where we have 3 bad leaders, right? For example, you have Jezebel as a bad leader, you have the king as a bad leader, and you have Elijah as a good leader, and you have the king's assistant that's caught in between. So I wrote down those leaders, and I brought out 3 characteristics from each. That was my chapter. I do my outline. Then after my outline, then I start putting meat on the bone, right? I'm putting meat on the bone, and I just write. My process is to write 1 chapter in a day, right? So I write it. I dedicate a block of time. 4 hours is what I dedicate. 4 hours, and I write a chapter. Doesn't mean that I'm finished writing my chapter in 1 day, but I'm working on 1 chapter in that day. Sometimes it takes me several days. Sometimes it's taking me up to, more than a week, especially when you have to do research and we have to put quotations. My books are not heavily the bibliography. That's not my style of writing. Some of you who write that way, you have to spend more time, but resist the urge to just write here, and then I'm going to write over there, and I'm going to write over here, and then I'm going to write over here, because it's all scattered. Just concentrate on that 1 chapter. So what do? Here's three things to personalize your process. Number 1, find your rhythm. I have a good friend who gets up every morning at 5, writes to 11. I can't do that. At 5 in the morning, I'm sleeping. I'm praying to God. He'll give me visions in my sleep. I can't write at 5 o'clock in the morning. No. Who can write at 5 o'clock in the morning? Only crazy people. But my friend's a crazy person. Some of you are really morning persons. I'm not a morning person. I'm a night person. My wife's a morning person. She's always happy. She's so friendly in the morning. She's always so full of energy. I'm like, woman, I don't drink coffee. But I don't drink coffee, and neither does she. But it looks like she's drunk coffee, because she's like so hyperactive in the morning. Hey, how's everybody? One time we were in a bus, and she was like so happy about all the process in the bus and greeting everybody 4 o'clock in the morning. I was like, come on, you have to find your rhythm, right? Some of you are going to find helpful to dedicate like a week. Say, I'm going to go on a week and a week retreat, and I'm going to write as much as I can all day. Some people like to write 12 hours in a day. I can't do that. I want to write 4 hours maximum. Then I'm going to do other things, right? Because my creative flow gets messed up when I write more than 4 hours. That's my process. You have to find your process. And the only way to find your process is number 2, to write. Just write. Well, I can only write a paragraph today. It's more than 0. 1 is more than 0. Some is more than none. Right? You wrote a paragraph. Okay, fantastic. You wrote something today. Resist the urge to think you're going to have more time later. You're not going to have as much time as you have today. That's 98% of the time. So write something today. And number 3, avoid trying to edit your book. I've said this probably in every single one because this is a common mistake. People are getting bogged down. I have found many people who said, yeah, I'm like halfway through my book, but I don't know if the edits, and I don't know if I like the way it sounds. Every author hates their work, man. Like you can literally edit your stuff 1,000 times, and in a 1,000 times you make some modification, because that's how language is. Language is malleable, right? So you can say the person went, oh, the guy went, the human being went, there went the human. This is like 20 ways of saying the same thing. That's just one sentence. Imagine 2,000 words in a chapter. That's what my chapters are like. There's 2,000 words. Some of you might want shorter chapters. Some of you might want longer chapters. Some of you are going to be really comfortable with writing really deep, annotated bibliography type of books. Some of you are going to write like, here's 100 different ways that you can increase your leadership, and those chapters are going to be 1 page long. Some of you are going to write books on marriage. Some of you are going to write books on philosophy. Some of you are going to write books on apologetics. Some of you are going to write books on finance. Whatever it is that you write, avoid trying to edit it 1,000,000 times and go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. Resist the little mouse that lives in your head, the little accusing judge. That's not perfect. Who's going to want to read this? This is crazy. Every single author I know has gone through that. All right. Hopefully these videos have been a blessing to you. Share them if you know somebody who's writing. Ask me questions. I've had people call me. I've had people ask me questions. It is my goal not just to write books, but to develop writers. I cannot read your manuscript, but I can tell you anything I know and everything I know. Next time, we're going to talk about the price and some of the financial aspects of writing a book. But for now, be blessed. Thank you for subscribing to our channel. And remember, if God is for us, for those who are against us,